Welcome back to the Freeaboos podcast, episode 10. It's your boy Jeff.
And Austin.
After some slight technical difficulties, we're bringing it back to the Mother's Day episode.
Yes, it is Mother's Day, day of recording, so why not take a look at One Piece's moms? Obviously, anime moms in general are a different thing, but that's a much wider topic, and quite frankly, too many to go through. And so we'll just narrow it down to the world of One Piece moms, which is a very easier list to cover because, well,
we have
a whole lot of them are dead.
I think we have about 7.
Yeah.
And for some of them, we had to be a little more inclusive on the definition of parenthood, and that,
And boy, howdy, go ahead with your straw hat joke.
There's a reason they're called the Straw Hats. It's because we're grasping at straws with this one here.
Yes. But it's going to... And you may be wondering, if you're knowledgeable in One Piece, you may realize why we're like this. But if you don't know, you're about to see. So let's first keep it on the sunny and look at the Straw Hat's parents. Luffy's mom. We don't know.
Unconfirmed. Maybe Crocodile.
Yes, let's put a pin in that one for about 3 years from now.
Yeah.
Because at the rate Oda's writing this, it's going to be that long. But...
Nami's biological mom, probably dead.
Bellamere, adoptive mom,
dead.
Let's see here. Zoro's mom,
no idea. Sanji's mom,
dead. But very good mom. Tried to save her children.
Was a good mom.
And she was around long enough to instill stuff into Sanji at least, not Niji.
Fucking dipshit siblings.
Whatever the fuck the other siblings are, but she helped even when his cooking was quote maybe questionable. She still ate it and loved it. So Sanji's mom, while dead, a good mom from what we saw.
Jinbei's parents, not confirmed. Frankie's parents, about the same. Brooke's parents are almost assuredly dead.
Robin's mom,
dead.
R.I.P. again. A good mom, again, but similar to Luffy in the sense that Olivia was not around because she didn't want to endanger Robin.
Yeah.
Didn't end well on that one.
Yeah. Usopp's mom,
dead. But again, a good from what we saw way back. Pretty
first
good.
50 episodes of One Piece.
First 30, I think. But yeah, from what we saw, she seemed good. She cared for him and loved him and stuff. And, well, again, not much more can be said there, Although I think she did kind of set up his whole Usopp the liar shtick. But that's a different story. But still good mom. And then
Chopper's parents. Chopper's mom is reindeer.
Is a reindeer.
You can't expect too much from a reindeer trying to raise a human. So we're counting in Dr. Correja as a more meaningful stand-in. And
yep, 141 years old.
And so, we have, on the entirety of the Straw Hats, Dr. Correja...
In terms of living maternal figures, we have Correa. And that's it. No. I want to circle back to Luffy. Dodon.
True. Adoptive mom. Dodon is a good being.
Dodon, as we saw, post Marineford, after Ace's death and Garp shows up to the village, he goes to the one place he knows he will not be praised for what he did at Marineford, because he wants to feel bad.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. Dodon smacks him around and says, I will follow Luffy regardless of what he becomes. So Dodon, a good adoptive mom.
Yeah.
Good stepmom, she stepped up and raised Ace and Luffy.
The two most famous pirates of their eras that, weren't Yonko yet.
Yeah. So shout out to Dodon. I will give her that good props there. So good mother for award to Dodon.
Yeah.
But again, the Straw Hats either tragedy strikes their mothers or we have no idea who their maternal / parents are.
Oh, we do need to include in a couple honorable mentions. Vivi's mom.
Oh, yes. I think it was just... Yeah. And apologies for any sounds in the background. We have a little special guest in the studio. Not really studio, but...
Your boy got a new puppy. His name is Ozymandias. Ruiner of good times. I'm just kidding. He's a...
Ruiner of good times, peer of places.
He's just a little guy.
Yes. So, hear any noises or yip yaps? It's Ozzy, most likely.
He's got very strong opinions, I assure you, but we'll try and keep them PG.
Case in point. He wants the... But...
I don't know about your mom, buddy. I'm sorry.
Yes. But yeah, the Straw Hats moms, 2 very good adoptive moms, 2 pretty good bio moms. Actually, no, 3 good adoptive moms in Bellemere. Yeah. But dead.
Mostly dead, unconfirmed.
Or the adoptive moms who are just wishing the best for their adoptive children in Chopper and Luffy.
And we're not dismissing the adoptive moms. It's just...
No. It's just in the world of One Piece, moms
tend
to
die.
Moms are a more dangerous profession than being a pirate or a marine, apparently. And also, like I said, the Queen Nefertari. Speaking of royalty, you have a lot of monarch moms in the world of One Piece.
True.
Another one being Queen Otohime of Fishman Island, Neptune's wife and mother of 4 children.
She got assassinated.
Yes, straight up murked by Horty Jones trying to spark a rebellion against humans.
This man's out here trying to spark a race war. It's like, please keep the hatred to yourself.
And she was the pure opposite. Although,
Yeah.
one thing I liked, I just now remembered, during the Odin/Roger flashback in Wano, Otohime was not even like a member of the royal family. She was like this activist in Fishman Island. But, like, the way, like, Neptune acted when they were talking about her, you could tell he was crushing on her.
Oh, yeah.
So, but yeah. Otohime was a very good mother, and even when she was dying, she was trying to reassure Shirahoshi, because I think she knew what would happen with Shirahoshi's Poseidon powers, but that's a separate convo.
Oh, yeah.
The Queen Rebecca of Dressrosa, she was a good mom to Rebecca while she was alive. This will be a very common phrase. While they were alive.
The Don Quixote pirates are real rat bastards.
And literally dying in her husband's arms while he's a toy, so she doesn't know it is him.
That's pretty nefarious.
That is downright awful.
Ugh. We do have a couple of other good mom mentions. Let me pull
Makino.
Makino.
The bartender from Luffy's village. She do be having a little baby now who does recognize Luffy in the papers that we saw recently in the anime.
Yeah.
But she seems to be a good mom. A question about who the daddy is a different story.
I would say Shanks, but, we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
Even though Shanks is definitely a dad, at least through One Piece, right? We get confirmation with... Yes, buddy.
Yes.
With Uda.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, her mom, we're not entirely sure. We do have Saffron, right? Saffron?
Well, I was going to say...
She's the one that married Beji, right?
Yeah, Chiffon.
Chiffon, sorry.
Yeah,
Saffron
yes.
is Chiffon.
And this, unironically, I think, in my opinion, the Capone family, as of current times, it might be the best actual family in One Piece.
Yeah. Complete loving family.
In terms of the actual house/castle dynamic they got, you got Capone, who's a very loving and supporting husband and father. You have Chiffon, who is a very loving and supporting wife and mother. And you have baby Pez, who's a baby and has a 5 o'clock shadow. Capone's genes go hard for that. But, yeah, Chiffon, a newer mother as well, but a very loving mother, and definitely, like, again, unironically, a very, very a good mother there.
Oh, yeah.
What's really interesting is that sometimes you look at characters and think, oh, well, there's a family, but then you don't know who the mother is. Like, we talked about in terms of like who the fathers are in One Piece, and I actually mentioned Saint Roswell, which is Charlos's dad. It's like in their warped scumbag way, they actually do care for each other.
He's at least
but
there.
We've never seen the mother of Charlos and his sister, although my guess is probably a slave because that's how the Celestial Dragons operate.
Those motherfuckers are just built for evil.
But speaking of slaves, we have Ginny, who's not been met technically in One Piece yet, but in the manga, Ginny definitely at least, well, never met Bonnie, I think, to my knowledge, but I think it's very, very evident that she would have been a hell of a mom.
The whole, like I said, we got to be ready for sad One Piece edits to fill up the timeline for a while.
Yes. And quick sidebar, the trailer for next week's episode of One Piece dropped, and that is the beginning of Kuma's flashback. And there was a brief bit that you saw Ginny eating a piece of meat, and so Ginny's going to be introduced next week in the anime. So we're getting there, but yeah, I think it's safe to say Ginny would have been a good mom, but just never had the chance to. Speaking of legendary figures, we have Toki, which is Momonosuke and Hiyori's mom.
Definitely a good mom. Married to Odin and produced Momo. Probably one of the most fucking busted devil fruits in the series. They got us the singular instance of time travel that we're aware of.
Yeah,
and she used it responsibly.
I just feel like, though, that Odin had wrote himself in a corner and he had to make up the time fruit or whatever it's called.
Absolutely, but
in the world of One Piece, it's like, okay, guys can transform themselves into sand and then wear each other as a jacket. It's fair enough. Time travel, fair enough.
I'm just glad that it wasn't something stupid that would like really mess up the timeline.
Yeah.
Because any sort of timeline molestation is a problem in this show.
Yeah. But it was she was a good mom, even taking an arrow for her kids from Orochi's men. Which, hey, you know what? Again, very good mom. But, say it with me now, when she was alive. Oh, God, that is...
a running thing.
It's dumb that it's almost a running joke of when she was alive, she was a good mom.
We also had, God bless it, I can barely remember her name, the mermaid from Water 7.
Kokoro.
Kokoro.
Yes,
She was a half-decent mom.
Another adoptive mom figure. I would say a little bit to Frankie. I'll give Frankie... we can go retroactively give her kind of a...
Mom enough status.
Mom enough, but also definitely for Chimney.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a maternal figure for Chimney, that little girl who somehow snuck around Annie's lobby and Lucci knew and just didn't give a fuck about. But, yeah, that was interesting. But, yeah, definitely a good maternal figure there. Again, it's like...
We'll run down this list.
We're running down... It's only been 13 minutes, but we can't really talk about moms too much.
We only have the biggest mom left that I can think of offhand. And Big Mom is worthy of a lot of things. And that she is a dog shit mom. She's...
Yeah.
So first of all, pretty sure strongest uterus in the verse.
Oh, no. We do have one more other mom, though.
Oh?
Porcus de Rouge.
Oh, she is number 2.
The single... honestly, I think we talked about this in our first episode, but definitely has one of, if not the greatest endurance feats in One Piece.
Yeah.
Carrying Ace for over a year.
That kid was born with a full head of hair.
S tier for womb power scaling here.
That's really, really good.
And also, like, she hit it well, too, because...
She hit from the fucking
the
Navy.
Marines who were there on the island, they didn't know she was pregnant.
They were just killing pregnant women.
And all the babies.
Yeah.
Yeah, which completely fucked.
Well, and again, the Navy is just that bad sometimes.
Yeah, they really do not want Roger's seed going around. But,
as we will say once again,
when she was alive, you could obviously she loved her kid. But
with all her heart. That's why he called himself Portcullis the Ace.
Yep. Oh, also another one though. That's another of a stretch one before we get to Big Mammy. Stussy with Edward Weevil, the former warlord who's now currently impelled down prisoner, but Stussy has ordered Marco to get him back. So let's just
we're gonna talk about this for a minute.
We'll put that little aspect of her demanding Marco get her son out impelled down on the back burner, but that's interesting. But yeah, Stussy, this is one again. You and I were like, is she like? This is more of a stretch than
Weevil is technically a clone.
At least like
spoilers, but I mean crazy. Like he's technically a clone.
Most likely a clone. Technically could be biological. We don't know. But the way he's too fucked up. And for what it's worth, Whitebeard was incredibly smart. Stussy, for all her greed and everything, definitely had some sharpness to her in the brains department. So the fact that Weevil is as dumb as he is, to me, is definitely more leaning I'm not going to say outright failure of cloning, but definitely not a success.
I'm willing to bet that he was probably like the first attempt at cloning from the government.
Yep. Also, I just thought of a new, technically adoptive mother figure that we haven't thought of yet.
Oh?
And that would be Speed, who has taken... Because at the end of Wano, Otama asked her to be her mom.
Oh,
and she took it on. So, shout out Horse Lady Speed. She took on the task of adopting Otama and doing a pretty good job.
Shout out Horse Lady Speed. You are somebody's fetish.
Yes. And at the very least, in terms of smile fruits, she didn't get the most shit end of the stick.
She got the shit end of the horse.
Yeah. Also, speaking of, quote, adoptive mothers, and actually somewhat related to the big one, but momentarily here, actually two more. Big Mom's biological mother, who, with Big Mom's dad, abandoned her, dropped her off on Elbaf or wherever they dropped her off. But I think they had to.
Given that Charlotte Linland was rocking up with Conqueror's hockey at 8.
She was 5 years old and already bigger than them. And I think it was very evident that she had gone on one of her hunger pang rampages before they abandoned her. I'm not condoning it. However, I understand why.
If my 8-year-old was rolling around eating people,
or destroying your home and neighborhood and hurting others,
my 8-year-old was like all of 7'3". It's like, I might need some government assistance.
Yeah. But that also goes into Mother Caramel. Scumbag mother. Because here's the... At the very least, you can even argue the bad mothers of One Piece, they didn't try to hide it.
Yeah.
But
she was on some
Mother
CIA
Caramel
shit.
Was pretending to be these kids' savior, their mother figure, and then was selling them to the government to be Cypher Pol agents, Marines, bodyguards, or whatever the fuck they needed.
Turns out they're just snacks for Charlotte.
Yeah. And then also another one I just thought of, Sabo's actual bio mama.
Who's probably alive.
No, she's dead.
Oh, God.
Yeah, Sabo's parents were killed in an accident, and Stelly is now the king of the kingdom. Again, I quote, air quote here, accident, quote. And we saw how Stelly was at the throne of wanting it. $5, he killed them. But considering she loved the adopted son way more than her actual son, scumbag mom.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say she was a heartless bitch, but definitely in the tiers here on the bad mother side.
Yeah.
And again, it's like there's a lot of characters we just don't know who the parents are.
And again, the lineage in One Piece, along with
also though, the only confirmed mother of mother's figure Celestial Dragon, Doflamingo's mother.
Yes.
She seemed she
wasn't bad.
She wasn't bad. She was just she and her husband were so hopelessly naive and optimistic about shit.
Like they had good intentions in their heart. They meant to come down from Mary Joie and live among the people, and they drastically overestimated the issues the people had with all celestial dragons.
Yeah, that was a swing and a miss. But I believe she was actually killed by people, but then Dofi blasted their dad. But
because it was Dofi, his Corazon, and his dad that were basically being crucified when he unlocked Conqueror's
and his mom was there too, but but then when Dofi actually killed his dad, I think his mom was already dead.
Yeah.
So
again, Dofi.
Bastard.
Just that much of a rat bastard.
But I believe that's all for now, but knowing how our brains work, we'll randomly think of one while we're talking here. But we can talk about the quick suspected mothers, but not confirmed. Clarissa,
yes,
of Amazon Lily, who rocked with the Rocks Pirates, maybe a mother, but maybe not. Who knows?
Similarly, Shaggy.
Rayleigh's. Oh, speaking of Rayleigh, we even talked about this and we forgot, but now I remember. Ripley, Scott Gabon's wife and Cologne's mother.
Up there with Beji for
best family dynamic.
Yeah. Again, Scott out here. God bless.
Yes. The second greatest intercourse feat.
Yeah.
We're going to get to the first intercourse feat here in a moment.
But that's, again, crazy that a Big Mom mentioned.
But, yes, I do believe, though, because, I'm even thinking of, the random one-off characters, like the Skypiea people. They didn't really have a lot of mothers up there. It's truly dumb how there's not a lot of mothers in One Piece, who at least are around. But of course, literally with her pirate name being Big Mom, we have
the biggest mom,
Charlotte Lin.
S+ tier for uterus, 70-something kids.
Yeah. I need to. Let's see here.
This woman produced a literal small army of children.
She has 85 children.
Oh my gosh.
And her 85 children, which are 39 daughters and 46 sons. She's starting 50 years ago from the story when she was 18. She gave birth every single year for 42 years. So from 18 to 60, she was giving birth every year.
I just thought of something really messed up. How absolutely messed up would it be if, to seal off their alliance, Kaido would have put another baby in Big Mom?
I don't know if she could at that point. Cause
I mean, it's not like anything else has stopped her before.
And this is the breakdown of how many exited her at a time. She had 22 single births, 11 pairs of twins, 6 sets of triplets,
God damn.
2 sets of quadruplets, 1 set of quintuplets, and 1 set of decuplets, which is the 10 children at once.
Oh my gosh. She has clusters.
Yes, 85 children. And that is just...
That is remarkable.
Mm-hmm.
That's up there with real life... up there with real life families.
Well, I forget what that one TLC family show is, but... Mary
yeah.
Kate plus 8, I think, or something
Keeping
like
Up
that.
with the Duggars.
Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah, that one didn't age well.
No.
Well, I have another Kate plus 8, but not relevant. Not relevant.
But yeah, 85 children.
Good lord.
And they were also her pirate crew. First off, Big Mom, bad mother.
Horrible. This woman was
She
so
did
evil.
not treat her family as family. She treated her family as a pirate crew, which people have also pointed out the inverse of Whitebeard, of adopting a bunch of people, but calling them the sons, and being a family. Whereas this is literally biological children, but treated them like a crew.
The every day we get away from Whitebeard, the more I miss him.
Yes.
Having Whitebeard in control of that era made it a much less bad era.
And you may be wondering, okay, was Prime Mom a baddie? Absolutely.
There's a reason she has that many kids.
I think, at least back in the day, she probably didn't even need to kidnap people. However, to get the husbands, because she wanted kids of every race, she would kidnap them.
She out here looking for diversity hires.
And then there would be Snoo. And then, although we do know from Pound, which is Lola's and Chiffon's dad, that she discards the fathers but doesn't necessarily kill them. Granted, if they're problems, that might be a different story, but at least, like, she'll just toss them out the castle after giving birth.
Yeah.
Which, you know what? I mean, it's not like a praying mantis, which,
you know, bites their heads off.
Yeah.
But it specifically on the bit of wanting to have a child of every race, so she could have a kingdom of every race. There's a couple that she didn't get.
Yes.
Specifically, like
Lunarians, Giants,
and I think
Buccaneers.
And she didn't get Oni, right?
There's like, I want to say there might be a 4th or 5th race that she didn't get a hold of. But yeah, she had a lot. And she has kids from all types of tribes and stuff. I mean, Katakuri is it has an eel mouth, so like a pelican eel. So probably, I don't know if it's some type of fish man or what, but yeah, obviously she has Praline, which is the one true fishman sun pirate who, with her husband now, Aladdin, who we saw at Whole Cake help Jinbei and them escape. But so fishman, long arm, long leg tribe, she has that, and but now we get to arguably the most disturbing aspect. We were talking about Scopper, Gabon, and Ripley having the second greatest snoo feat.
A Tontata and Big Mom.
Yes, Big Mom has a Tontadan child.
And Tontata are like what, 2 to 4 inches tall?
Yes.
And Big Mom is 21 feet?
I'm just wanting to get these stats here. Tontata average. Yeah, generally they're around 5 inches tall. Meanwhile, Big Mom is a very, very big lady, and it's not a pleasant image to think of when the man's about 5 inches or so, maybe give or take, and the mother is 28 feet 10 inches.
All right, well, I don't want to get like too graphic with the imagery on this. All I'm saying is that our boy had to be some type of professional cave explorer beforehand.
But probably died like Kenny did in that one South Park episode when he went up the old bus driver's vagina. Probably. But
what a way to go. I'm pretty sure that's a one-way ticket to Valhalla, though.
Yeah, possibly. But I don't know if I don't know if going down on Big Mom is a way to Valhalla.
It's a way to somewhere. Not necessarily somewhere you want to go, but it's a way to somewhere.
But yeah, Big Mom, obviously
The biggest mom.
yes, which also it's very interesting how her kids are all varying level of importance characters here.
She's had a number of kids that have been impactful on the plot. Probably substantial, probably first Katakuri for his effect on Luffy, as who would have been probably the strongest person after Big Mom.
Hot take, I think Katakuri, a true driven Katakuri would have beaten Whole Cake Island Luffy.
Well, let's just keep it a buck. Probably. The fight with Katakuri was not ever going to be Luffy pulling this out of his ass. It was an endurance fight because what Katakuri was fighting for and what Luffy were fighting for were not the same thing.
No.
The relationship Big Mom had with her kids was...
It was not a family.
It was very corporate.
And she tried to use, like when you have bad managers at a business, like, don't quit on us. We're family. We're a family. We stick together. She had that vibe. She had the bad manager vibes of how she treated her family. Yeah. I mean, look how she treated Pudding. She gaslit the fuck out of Pudding.
Yeah. Well, pretty nefarious to set up an arranged marriage between Pudding and Vinsmoke Sanji, just so you can have access to Vinsmoke technology research.
Yeah, I mean, that's how she got a lot of her power, was these arranged marriages.
Which, God bless, dude. After Katakuri,
Lola. You want to talk about impact on the plot.
Yeah.
I would not believe you if back on Thriller Bark, Lola, I'm not saying she's a key figure, but she's a key linchpin.
Yeah, she was...
in things. And when she rejected Loki, that is huge.
That has had a dramatic effect on the plot, to put it lightly.
Yeah. Between everything going down afterwards with Big Mom and Lola being ousted.
Well, as it is said that the giant pirates are basically the strongest army on Earth. And having access to that, just as a standing army, would have made Big Mom probably the single largest military force on the planet.
Yeah.
Big Mom was strong enough by herself to be a genuine threat to Kaido, and as a Yonko, a genuine threat to the Navy. Mm-hmm. Which,
I mean, on her island, she was unbeatable.
And that's part of what made Whole Cake as good as it was, is that this was supposed to be an assassination attempt. Mm-hmm. And it flopped. It did not go well. They got a scratch on Big Mom, got her mad, and then they just had to book it.
Yep. Yeah, and they escaped because of plot. And...
Well, we also got one of the most horrific things we've ever seen in One Piece, where Big Mom wanted to chase them, so she walked across the ocean.
Using candy, but to walk on from Perospero. But that was horrifying. But yeah, Big Mom, easily the biggest mom, no pun intended there, though, in terms of family and everything. But also... Say it with me now. While she was alive. She was a bad mom.
She might be alive. I really, really hope not. For the plot's sake.
Yeah.
She got thrown into a friggin' volcano.
Yeah, I'm just going to say it.
That should be a death sentence.
In the story of One Piece, her chapter's closed. We're moving on to the Endgame saga. Now, Grant, I did see a YouTube video that's saying Big Mom should have been the last Yonko, because you are talking the most durable motherfucker, one of the most durable motherfuckers in this universe. A person who has all three types of hockey.
Wasn't going to take damage without Conqueror's hockey.
Yeah, I think you would need Ryu to hurt Big Mom.
Well, it took a team up from Eustace Kid and Trafalgar Law, who are... If Luffy is 100. They're like 70 and 70.
No, to me, like, they're like 72, 70, Law being 72, because Kid, I think, is, while stronger in terms of power and stuff.
He has a sharper mind, for sure.
Law is just that much more technically sound that he got the edge to me. But yeah, they only won because they ringed out Big Mom. They didn't actually beat her like Luffy beat Kaido.
Threw her into a volcano.
Yeah, just conveniently.
Which, if Law didn't think of that, they wouldn't have won.
I don't think that Law even thought of that. He just lucked into it.
That's a real possibility.
Oh, speaking of Trafalgar Law, though, his mom, we saw in his flashback, again, a good mom when she was alive.
Suffered a terrible fate from white lead disease?
White lead, she was either killed by the disease or killed by the governments of the other countries around them in the genocide. Wow, if I had a nickel for every mom that was killed as part of a governmental genocide, I'd have at least 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird it's happened twice, at least. But yeah, it's dumb how the mothers of One Piece being a mother in One Piece is a more dangerous profession than a Marine soldier or a pirate.
Yeah. Well, if I guess the choice between being a mom in One Piece and, guarding Impel Down, the mortality rate of Impel Down isn't so bad. By comparison, of course.
Yeah. Again, there's, let's see here, Chiffon, Stussy, Correa, Dodon, Makino. That's 5 alive mother figures. Is there another one that we mentioned?
What is Gabon's wife's name?
Oh yeah, Ripley. So there's 6. For now, Ripley's alive. For now. Because, good Lord, if you want to have a potential death in Elbaf, if Elbaf is going to be a bloodbath, Ripley would definitely be high on that list of potential deaths, in my opinion. But that's a tangent for another video. But, Kokoro, that's 7. God.
Yeah, I'm running out of gas on that.
And again, we're just even talking about people who are confirmed. We can speculate on people like Clarissa and Shaki, but
we don't know for
sure.
We
don't know. So
we have 7 confirmed moms.
7 confirmed maternal figures that are alive in One Piece out of the
1,000 plus named characters.
Yeah, and out of the about 24 moms we ran through.
Yeah. I feel if we use the word ran through and Big Mom, that'd be really foul.
Dude, that is not a nice mental image there.
No.
But it was definitely an episode of talking about the mothers. But
once again, Happy Mother's Day.
Yes, Happy Mother's Day. But again, not a holiday celebrated in One Piece. That's for sure.
Wait till we get to Father's Day. We have grievances to air.
Ooh, the Father's Day episode you're gonna have a lot of.
Yeah, the mothers in One Piece usually died tragically, or some of them like Big Mom got their just desserts.
Mm-hmm.
Father's Day in One Piece is gonna be Child Support Day.
Yes, but either Child Support Day or Hats Off to You.
Yeah.
There's no in between, really.
Yeah. Parenting in One Piece is complicated.
Well, as Dragon said, a parent's weakness is their child.
Send D email. Will not send D child support.
But we appreciate you listening. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you in the next one. Peace.
Bye.